Would you believe I've never seen a single episode of Kojak? I've always felt this was a critical gap in my Columbo knowledge base. The two shows were contemporaries, Kojak running from 73 to 78, basically seasons 3 through 7 of Columbo, but they were also rivals, Columbo on NBC, part of the Sunday mystery movie Wheel, and Kojak on CBS. Kojak was the hip, gritty, streetwise New York detective show, while Columbo was the armchair, cerebral Los Angeles mystery. As Richard Levinson was quoted in the Columbo file, Columbo was the shabby man in elegant surroundings. Kojak was the elegant man in shabby surroundings. I know Telly Savalas from a few film roles, Big Joe in Kelly's Heroes, and Blofeld in On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
That will remain my secret.
My knowledge of Kojak the character was limited to lollipops, and this clip from an obscure John Cleese comedy special.
It is Kojak! Well, yeah.
So, having received the first season on DVD for my birthday, I thought it'd be fun and educational to review a show that's brand new to me. And that's the subject of today's Echoes of Columbo, Kojak Season 1, Siege of Terror. This aired on October 24th, 1973, right between Any Old Port in a Storm and Candidate for Crime in Season 3 of Columbo. Unlike Columbo, we don't just cold open, we get a title sequence, with a familiar yellow Telly Savalas as Kojak credit for our star. And right off the bat, there's a huge gunfight and car chase, complete with lumbering 70s boats smashing through stacks of empty cardboard boxes. From YouTube, I know that Kojak features a large number of up-and-coming, before-they-were-famous New York actors. Here we get Harvey Keitel as the main bad guy, and, much more excitingly, David Proval, aka Richie Aprile, as a cop who gets shot, mirroring his fate on The Sopranos. You barely see his face head-on, but as soon as I saw those Manson lamps, I knew it was him.
Don't give me your f***ing Manson lamps.
Keitel and his 70s-looking, vaguely familiar henchmen barricade themselves inside a store and take hostages. This one guy was in Candidate for Crime and An Exercise in Fatality. These villains are all great. Sweaty, weird facial expressions. The episode's packed with interesting-looking characters, like this guy, or this guy, or this guy. Then we meet Kojak himself, and dang if he isn't the toughest, coolest cop.
Any more questions?
Rescues an injured guy, goes right in to tell the bad guys to give up. He immediately takes charge over the worrywart bureaucrats.
You're going to have full tactical command all the way.
And comes up with a daring scheme to rescue the hostages.
I don't want anything to happen to them.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for this kind of siege storyline. Under Siege 1 and 2, Executive Decision, Air Force 1, but this episode especially reminds me of the granddaddy of them all, Die Hard. With the armored car and the helicopter, Kojak is a loose cannon like John McClane. It even has that famous Die Hard ending where they drive off through the aftermath of the siege. Or perhaps I should say that Die Hard has the Kojak ending, since this came out more than a decade before. It's amazing how much those Die Hard style movies resemble this episode. The plot becomes a battle of wits, Kojak versus Keitel, just like McClane versus Hans Gruber or Casey Ryback versus Travis Dane. The hero's the one on the inside, confronting the villains face to face, dealing with the situation itself and outside worries like the press and hostile superiors. I'm not saying that Kojak invented these now familiar plot elements, but we do see this exact siege of terror structure played out on the big screen in movie after movie, and here it all was on TV in the 70s. Fascinating. The episode is peppered with fun little nuggets, like when Keitel admits he forgot Kojak's name.
I forgot your name.
Kojak.
And then proceeds to mispronounce it for the rest of the show.
You take care of that little detail, Kojak.
There's a nice bit where, like Columbo, Kojak bemoans the amount of paperwork he'll have to do afterward.
I'm thinking what's going to happen. All that damn paperwork.
You wouldn't even want to think about the amount of paperwork for murder.
On the negative side, there's some very ham-fisted pro-police messaging.
That's a noble thing to be, an important thing.
Well, we're not perfect, but we're okay.
And the big finale kind of fizzles out.
Forget it, he's dead.
Honestly, this kept my attention the entire time. It was good storytelling, and Savalas is amazing. I could listen to his voice and delivery all day.
Next 10 minutes there and back, and God help us if there's a traffic jam.
All the things I love about classic TV are here, including the sound effect they use for guys' shoes.
Come on.
Does this give anyone else ASMR? The city of New York also took on a real character. You get a sense that this is a seedy, violent place where only the strong survive. I find myself interested to see additional Kojak episodes, and seeing familiar names and faces is always a pleasure. Like this guy was the studio boss in Fade Into Murder, and the music was by Billy Goldenberg, who scored the first Columbo episode. I'll be making my way through this series, so if you're interested in seeing more of Kojak, let me know. On a personal note, you all have helped make 2022 the greatest year in Echoes of Columbo history. And I'm especially pleased that even people who have watched the show as much as or more than me seem to appreciate my little fun observations. So I'm really grateful. I hope everyone has a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We'll be back with even more in 2023.
That ain't funny.
You're absolutely right. That ain't funny.